So, everyone, my name is JoAnn Means, and I am a Senior Diversity Talent Sourcer at TD Bank. And today's session, I am going to talk with you about how to, one, feel confident in an interview, and most importantly, how to secure the bag, right? We all want to get paid. We all want to get what we deserve. Correct, ladies? I see everybody, hair done, everything looking good. That costs, right? Yeah. So we have to make sure we are getting our money. And for a lot of us, we don't advocate for ourselves. So I'm going to empower you today to get money, right, that you deserve. Okay, I just want to see if anybody else is coming in. All right. And the clicker does not work, so bear with me, okay? All right. So I want y'all to take a second and read this statistic, okay? Do y'all see this? Yes. On average, black women in the United States earn 34% less, okay, less than their white male counterparts, okay, on the dollar. So for every dollar you make, 66 cents is what you're getting. Oh, wow. Okay. Is that right? No. Why do you think that is, though? Imposter syndrome. Exactly. What else? Come on, ladies. It's going to be interactive. What would you say? Bias. That's right. All right. Okay. Okay. But another one is that, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like the way that people don't talk about money, right? So it's like you don't even know that you're being paid less because no one's talking about what they're being paid within the same.
Exactly. And I think, did you have your hand? Absolutely. So having a mentor, right, to guide you, to tell you, oh, look, you're applying for these positions. This is what we get. Because you're right, a lot of times people don't like to discuss salary, right? It's a hidden thing. Yeah. What were you saying?
I would also say being afraid to walk away from it. Like being afraid to walk away from an opportunity that you could get anything higher.
That's right. Absolutely. So sometimes you get a position and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to work for this company. I'm going to just take it. How many of us have been there? I have, right? Right? We're going to stop that today, ladies. Okay? So, again, remember this statistic. Next, we are going to talk about, in this session, how to prepare for your interview. Okay? We're going to talk about how to feel more confident during your interview. Okay? Because I can tell you, I interview people all the time. And I can tell you the people that are more confident are the ones that get it. It's not always the people that have the best resume. I can tell you that right now. It's not. It's the people that are able to articulate their value. And that's what we're going to do today. Next, how to navigate salary negotiation. So we're going to talk about that. So, how do we prepare for an interview? How do y'all think we prepare for an interview? Research the company. Mock interviews, right? We're going to do a deep dive because some people say mock interviews, but they're not sure how to go about doing that, right? If you think you have the correct answer, you're going to keep saying that in the interview. Then when you don't get that job, you're going to be like, wow, but I practice. It's not just practicing, it's how you practice. So we're going to do a deep dive into that. So first of all, you're going to need to learn how to effectively share your story. Okay? What does that mean, though?
Talk about your skill set in a way that you feel confident about that reflects the role that you're applying to.
Talk about your experience, right? We're not doing it in a cocky way, right? We're doing it in a confident manner, okay? There's a difference. I've had people that I interview and they're like, yeah, I know this, and it's like, okay, all right. I'm like, calm down, right? I'm like, listen, I get it. I feel you. I want to brag on myself too, but there's a way to humble brag, right? Okay? We're going to talk about that. Know your value and how to communicate it. That is the most important thing we're going to talk about today. A lot of people don't know how to communicate their value. They'll say, oh, I'm a data analyst. I've done it for 8 years. What does that mean, right? You haven't added value to that conversation. Tell me how I'll give you an example. If I was interviewing someone that's doing data, I want to hear how you make sure that data is clean, right? How you work effectively and efficiently, and that you are a stickler for making sure that the data you submit is accurate, because you know if it's not, everybody's reports are going to be messed up. That's what I want to hear. Not, oh yeah, I've been a data analyst. Okay, give me some stuff, right? Give me some stuff behind it, right? We're going to get into it. Next, review your notes and resume. I cannot tell you how many times I'll interview somebody and they're not even taking notes. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if people are scared because they just want to look at you in the camera. They feel as though they can't take notes. Take notes, and if you feel like a little uncomfortable, you can tell, you know what, I'm just taking notes. You can tell the recruiter that. That's all right, okay? Take notes, because a lot of content is going to be given, and if you don't write it down, you're going to be emailing me back like, oh, JoAnn, what was the location of the job? What was the hours? What was this? And that shows you weren't paying attention. So that doesn't look good on you. So take notes, okay?
I have a question. How do you feel about, you know they have the AI note-taking apps now?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I like it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I like it, and we're gonna get into it, okay? So, in the chat GPT, because some people are like pro and con, I'm like, listen, anything to make my job easier, we're gonna do it, okay? So one thing I wanna tell y'all ladies is that I'm a non-conventional recruiter. I'm gonna tell y'all a lot of secrets and tips and stuff like that, okay? And then when y'all get y'all's job, I want 10%, okay? Okay, I want y'all to be like, JoAnn, girl, I'm like, okay, 10%, I'm happy for you, okay? So, we're gonna get into it. Everybody's coming in, just take a seat. Practice. Somebody said practice over here. I remember that. How do you practice though? I always tell people your first interview is probably going to be virtual. Okay? Probably going to be virtual. So what does that mean? You need to make sure you have a setup, right? So for me, I make sure I have sticky notes all around my desktop, because for one, I talk very fast. So I have a reminder, JoAnn, slow down. Okay, that's me. We all have our little quirks and things like that. So for me, I always say, okay, slow down, because if not, I'll be like, right? And I want them to hear what I'm saying, right? Pardon me, I'm gonna be talking a lot, so I know I have to have my water. So I have my sticky notes. Or the one lady that mentioned AI, I know that they have like the invisible sticky note. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Nothing wrong with that, okay? So whatever you want to use, I'm old school. So I use sticky notes, but have your notes around, because again, when you have your interview, it could be 3 to 4 people interviewing you. You might forget what you need to say. You don't want to forget it. You don't want to get off the phone and be like, oh man, I meant to say this. No, have your sticky notes. But all that comes from what? Being prepared, okay? So, next, when you have your interview, your mock interview with your friend, right? I want you to dress as though you're dressing for that interview. Makeup done, hair done, as though you're having that interview that day. Why do you think I would say that? That is exactly right. You want your friend to say, oh, you know what, girl, that lighting in the back, or oh, that outfit, it doesn't look good on camera, right? Another thing that you can do with your friend on Zoom or Teams, practice the questions. Because you might think, okay, yeah, I've been practicing, I've got it, girl. And then she asks you questions, you're like, ooh, I don't got it. I'm stumbling, right? You wanna know that you are gonna be able to answer those questions. So make sure you have a friend, girl, I need you 30 minutes. I need to do a mock with you. Your friend, your cousin, whoever, we need to do some mocks, okay? Most importantly, please invest in a ring light. I cannot tell you how important that is. So many people will interview, and I'm like, are they in a closet? I'm like, hello? I'm serious. Y'all think I'm dead? Yeah, listen. I've been a recruiter for a long time. I've seen a lot of stuff. So please, I don't want to call y'all and see closet or dim light. I'm like, hello? Hello? No. Yes.
What do you feel about people who do interviews in their cars? Because I just did one with someone who was in their car, and I was like, okay, sis, you on your hustle.
I take it 2 ways, because I say, you know what? I say that person is at work. They don't want their boss to know, so they're probably taking their lunch break. So I say, you know what? Some people will say, you know what? Listen, I'm working. I'm sorry, but I really wanted to interview with you. If somebody says it like that, then I'm like, you know what? I got it. But when people come and it's like, they don't even acknowledge it, then I'm like, come on now, you know the elephant is in the room. Let's address it. Okay, let's address it. But I got you, sis. I get it. We got to get that money. So, you don't want that boss to know because you're probably going on other interviews as well. So, like I said, when you're interviewing with your friends, right, make sure you are able to identify your pain points. So when you're interviewing virtually and you're fumbling and stumbling, okay, I need to practice on that. Maybe I need to practice the tell me about yourself question, right? Or the salary negotiation, which we're going to get to, right? You'll know. So don't be scared of that. Welcome it and say, you know what? I've got some work to do. Okay? Don't run from it. Run towards it. Because that's how you're going to get what? Better. Okay? So, yeah. And remember that ring light. I don't want any dark. Y'all, listen, I've been a recruiter for a long time, like I said, so we're going to get into a lot of things. How to prepare for the interview. I want y'all to know that the interview is a conversation. Believe it or not, I can tell you when I was, before I got into HR, I would sit there and be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, I'm scared. I couldn't even sleep because I was so consumed of the interview, right? We just want to get to know you. We would just want to know your skill set. We want to know your background. We want to know what you're going to do for the company, right? And remember, the reason you're interviewing for the position is because the company has a problem that we need you to solve. Remember that. If you think of it in that regard, then you're like, okay, let me talk about the ways that I can solve those problems, right? Think about it like that. We have a problem. We need to hire you to solve our issues. So you need to tell us about that. Not when we ask you, tell us about yourself. You want to tell us, I've got 2 dogs and no. We don't want to hear that. We don't. We want to know about you, your experience, your skill set. One thing I want you to remember, hold on one second. One thing I want you to remember in the interview, in every interview, you need to be talking about your impact, your value, right? Remember that. In every conversation you're having with the interviewer, talk about your impact and your value. How does that happen? I want you, if any of you are interviewing, to go home, make a list of all your wins, okay? All of your wins. Because sometimes we have a resume, it doesn't tell the whole story, right? I can tell you right now, I've interviewed people where I'm like, dang, this person was better, even better than I thought as I got to talk to them. But the resume doesn't always tell you what it is. You might have a resume from a few years ago, right? That you updated a little bit, but it doesn't really tell the nitty gritty of what you do on the day to day. That's what we want to know. You might be the co-lead for your BRG, right? You didn't put on the resume because you're like, oh, I totally forgot. Or you might be, managing some more people. But at the time of your resume, oh, I was managing 4 people. Now it's 8 people, right? So doing that deep dive and making a list and saying, okay, these are the wins that I want to talk about. But in the same breath, don't forget to talk about the challenges you've had at a job, right? And how you overcame that. Too many times people want to be perfect in an interview. No job is perfect. We all know that, right? Because we've all left the job before, right? For whatever reason. Wasn't a good fit at the time, or whatever was going on. So be able to talk about the challenges you had at that organization and not talking bad about it, right? Because let's say you had a project that was going one way and it didn't work out, but then you and your coworkers collaborated and you were able to turn it around. Talk about that, okay? That is important. That's what we want to hear. When people come in and say, oh, it's perfect, and I'm like, okay, that's not true. And I look at them like, okay. What'd you say?
So perfect like
Exactly, right? Oh, because I just want more of opportunity. Okay. Okay. So, one thing I want to mention too is that if you look at that job description, ladies, it says everything that they're looking for, believe it or not. Take a deep dive on that job description, okay, and see how you can solve those problems, okay? Next, one thing that is so important, I have interviewed people that have been able to tell me about the company stuff I didn't even know. When I tell you those people were researchers, they were like the FBI. They were like JoAnn. I'm like, dang. I'm like, really? All that? They were able to tell me so much about the company. And it's usually people that do that, that put in the work, are the ones that are going to get the job. Okay? So we're going to get into how to research the company. So when you're interviewing, you can talk about that. Where are you going to find some of this information? The company website, right? Company LinkedIn, a lot of good information on their LinkedIn because it's updated all the time, right? Google News and social media. Always tell people when you are interviewing, have at least 4 unique facts about the company you are interviewing with, okay? 4. Why do you think I would say 4? Anybody? Exactly. You're also going to be meeting with multiple different people, right? You want them to know, look, I've put in the work. I'm researching the company, right? These are the things that y'all are doing that resonate with me. And I have some examples that y'all will see in a minute. But those are the people that I can always tell when people have prepared and when people haven't. People that have prepared, they're about it. They're like, JoAnn, this, yes, the company did this. I'm like, okay. You know, they are prepared. Who would you give a job to? Somebody that's prepared or somebody that's not prepared? Because I can tell you right now, in the interview, everybody has their best foot forward. Everybody sounds good. Everybody. But the ones that rise to the occasion are the ones that are able to articulate their value and talk about the company. So it's 2 things, not just 1. 2 things. What did I say? Articulate their value and talk about the company. 2 things. I've seen people talk about, themselves and then ask about the company. They're like, Okay, you're going to see this example in a minute. I want y'all to read this real quick while I drink my water. Did y'all read this? The reason I say this is because I cannot tell you how many times I will interview people, and yes, people are home, and I get it, and people act like they're home. People act like they are home. They have on, what you wear on the weekend, short. I'm like, you're interviewing for a product manager position. You're interviewing for a data analyst. You have to dress the part. You're going for a corporate job. I still do the interview. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to do it. But the one that is suited and booted, and I'm telling you, I'm going to tell y'all some things. By the time we leave here, we're going to be family, okay? Because I'm going to give y'all a lot of tips and tricks. I'm telling you, y'all go like, oh my goodness. But I'll tell you this. So my TD coworkers, raise y'all's hands. Okay, so I know who I can hug afterwards because I'm going to say a little embarrassing story, but I'm about to say it. So I was interviewing for TD, and the interview was going great because whenever an interview goes over an hour, okay, they like me. I'm like, okay. So interview's going good. And my desktop is blinking, low battery. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I look where I normally have my plug. My charger's not there. I'm like, where did I put it? Ladies, I look way across the room. It's over there. I'm like, oh my goodness. You wanna know why I'm nervous? Because I had on my blazer, makeup was done, hair was curled. I said, oh my God, that's what am I gonna do? I slithered my behind. Y'all think I'm playing, and let me tell you, I got bad knees. I'm not Megan Thee Stallion. I'm over 40, okay? I was like, oh my God. I said, excuse me for one moment. I'm like, and I don't exercise, so I was probably 30 pounds heavier, okay? So I was like, whoo. So I'm slithering, like I said, out of my seat. I go across my bed. I'm like, whoo. I'm like, come on. Like that charger, I'm yanking. I'm like, okay. I come back across, okay? And then I still got to smile because remember, I'm huffing and puffing. But I should have, but I wasn't even thinking. I said, oh my God. So I come back and I'm like, because I don't want to breathe because I'm like, right? But anyway, I got the job. So, but, okay. But I'm telling you, so a couple of things I want y'all to remember when you're doing the interview. Have your sticky notes, your water, because like I told you, my throat gets dry. Y'all see how I'm talking right now? It's getting dry. Sticky notes, water. Oh, another thing, pens. How many times do y'all try to write something and the pen that you have doesn't write? It doesn't work. So I always have like 4 pens when I'm interviewing. Ladies, make sure you got multiple pens, right? Because you don't want to be that, like, oh my God, I can't even write, and they're telling me so much work. Make sure you've got pens. And most importantly, make sure you have your charger near you. Okay? Okay, let me get this drink of water before we continue. Okay. Oh, let me talk about this real quick. When a recruiter calls you, okay, I want you to take 2 days before emailing them or calling them back. Show of hands, why do you think I'm going to say that to you? One. Who said that? Absolutely. Figure, listen to this. We typically don't do interviews on Fridays, right? So let's say they called you Tuesday, you email them back Thursday. You've got now Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Look how much time you've got to do a deep dive. Look how much time. The mistake I see people make is when we call, okay, I can do it tomorrow. I'm like, oh. I know they're not prepared, right? How can you be prepared? You might be prepared in your knowledge of yourself, but you definitely don't know the questions about TD, right? You want to know the organization. You want to feel comfortable. You would have practiced with your friend. You would have had your suit on and not your bottoms, right? Or you would have had your bottoms on, right? You would have been prepared for everything. So that's why I say wait. Nobody's going to sit there and say, oh my God, she didn't call right back. No, because guess what? We've got about 30 other people we're calling, and everybody's going to have a different time of when they respond and all of that. You're still going to get the interview. I want you to win, and the way you win is by waiting. There is power in waiting, and there is power in silence. I'm going to tell you about the silence in a minute. You see why I told you come over here? I told you. And don't forget my 10%. Okay? Okay. Hey, okay. Listen. So remember I said examples of researching the company? Here are some for my good old company, TD, right? TD, so right on TD's website, TD is giving $20 million, right, to underserved communities. So in the interview, when I'm talking to someone, I can say, you know what? JoAnn, what do you know about TD? Oh, I love TD as an organization. You know, I saw they're giving $20 million to underserved communities. That resonates with me. I love an organization that's giving back to underserved communities. Boom. Whew. Right? Next one, TD formed an advisory board. And I saw Dr. Tony Allen from Delaware State, which is a HBCU, is on that advisory board. Oh, you know what? My kids went to HBCUs. So I love that TD is really empowering DEI, blah, 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 right? Whatever. Okay. Also saw that TD has the CEO of the Urban League on your advisory board. Right? That person did a what? A deep dive. Okay? They want the job. Okay? So these are just two examples. Okay. I want y'all to really think about the job responsibilities when you see it, okay? Really take a deep dive on that job responsibilities. Like I said, everything is there, okay? When you look at it, don't just like, okay, and talk. No, really, in that time frame that I just had my fingers up on, this is what you need to be doing. If you want that job, you're gonna have to put in the work. I can tell you that right now. All jokes aside, I like to joke a lot and play a lot, but I'm telling you right now as a recruiter, I can tell somebody within the first 2 minutes if they've prepared. And the ones that have, seriously, the ones that have, I'm like, whew, you know, it's a breath of fresh air because the other ones haven't, to be honest with you. So you would stand out just taking that time, okay? Talk about a time when you taught someone how to do something at your job, right? Maybe there was a coworker that didn't know how to use Excel and you showed them, right? Or how to input data or whatever you did that was outside of your job description, okay? Still talk about your job, but we also want to know a little bit about you. How do you go above and beyond, okay? A time when you learned a new skill and how you used it. So for those of you that use like Tableau or SQL or whatever program, right? If you, let's say you say, you know what? I struggled with learning Tableau at first, but I sat there and used Udemy and some other programs, and now listen, I'm the Tableau queen. We want to hear that. We want to hear how you took a problem that you had and how you were able to overcome it, because we know everything's not perfect, right? I always find it so much better when somebody tells me the truth than somebody who's like, oh, everything is perfect. My manager was great. I love, 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 love my job. I'm like, Tell us the truth. We want to know the challenges you had. And like I said, not talking bad about the company or your manager, but tell us the challenges you had, how you overcame. Okay? Because when they ask you that question, what's that question? The question where it says, tell me a time, or the other one, which is, tell me your weakness, or tell me how you overcame something. When people say, oh, I don't have anything, I'm like, okay. Exactly, I care too much. I'm an overachiever. Okay. I do believe some people are, because I am. That's one thing about me, okay? But I can also talk about how when I became a manager, right, I got a promotion very quickly with my previous job. I wasn't a good manager. I didn't know how to manage. I expected people to be like me, like, oh, do that work, okay. Oh, yeah. No, I had to learn how to manage people because not everybody is about going above and beyond. It's the truth. Some people aren't. Some people are there just for a paycheck and to go home. I'm not like that. My parents are African. So if you know foreign families, you're going to put in that work and then some, okay? So that's the work ethic I come from. I don't know anything different, right? So I had to manage them. I told them that. I was like, you know what, when I got that promotion, I was expecting people to work just as hard as me. And my coworkers were like, girl, goodbye. And I was like, ooh, I got to learn how to manage them, right? I have to learn to build a relationship with them and see what motivates them because it's obviously not money, okay? So.
Is this where you would use like the STAR method, situation and cash?
Hold on. Hold on one second. My water's almost gone. This is terrible. Hold on. But I told you I'm on a diet, so I'm drinking my water. Okay, so yes and no. It doesn't matter to me, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Long as you can articulate what you've done, I don't care if you start with the R, the A, the S. Talk to me. Tell me, right? Tell me what you're doing. Some people put so much, oh, I've got to say it this. No, it's a conversation, right? We just want to know your skill set, your experience. Talk to us, right? I'm hoping that y'all see me as a recruiter and see I'm just a regular person just like everybody else, and all the recruiters are the same way, okay? Seriously, some people see us as, oh my God, no, right? We laugh, we joke, we have families, we have good days, bad days, right? We just want to know about you, right? That's it. We just want to know about you. So don't be scared, okay? Welcome it. I welcome an interview because I'm like, nobody's going to out-interview me. No, not now. I'm going to tell y'all an embarrassing story in a minute, but y'all will see what I mean about recruiters. But a time when you solved a problem. So I'm going to tell y'all this story. At TD Bank, right, I am with the Black and Multicultural Pillars. That's what I support, right? So I get Black talent to come and work at TD Bank. And I do a lot of HBCUs, right? I told you I'm not a conventional recruiter. I am boots on the ground at the school, okay? Some recruiters, they like to sit in their office, and that's fine. Everybody has a different way of doing things. But for me, I'm a networker. I like to be where the people are. I like to network. I like to recruit. I like to build diverse pipelines. That's something I love. So I'm always at the HBCUs. The one nearest me, I live in Delaware, so I go all the time to Delaware State. And my dad retired there after 38 years, so I'm like family, okay? So, you wanna come? Look, girls like, look, let me get that bag, come on in, girl. Oh, so, you're welcome. So, I was talking to my sister, who's a professor at Delaware State, and I told her how I volunteer at the career fair each year. And she says to me, JoAnn, you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of the students don't attend the career fair. And I was like, what? She was like, mm-mm. She was like, JoAnn, they don't. And I said, why? I said, they're in school to get an opportunity to get a job. They don't have the professional clothing, right? Isn't that disheartening? You are in school to get an education, to land a job, and you can't even go because you don't have the clothing. Suits are expensive, right? Professional attire is expensive. And if your mom just barely made it to get you there, you don't have it. So I said, you know what? I said, let me see how I can help. Let me see. And I was thinking. So you know what I did? Called upon my beautiful TD colleagues, and we did a HBCU professional clothing drive. Oh, hold on, y'all. Because my colleagues, right, gave over 400 pieces of clothing. First year. Now, let me tell y'all something. When I first did it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to get a handful of things. I had some boxes at TDU, which is our corporate space. Every week, JoAnn, the box is full. JoAnn, I was like, hold on a second. You know, because I live in Delaware, so TDU for me is about an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, it's full? I was like, okay, I'll go. I was like, you know, this is great. JoAnn, it's full. I was like, what? I'm telling you, my basement was stuffed. Okay, and this year, so that was last year, that was the first year. This year, I don't even want to tell y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy. But let me tell you something, the students were so grateful and happy, right? So you see how I had an issue, right? Created an initiative, made sure to still brand TD at Delaware State University, right? Brought my colleagues together, and we did a great thing. You see, those are some of the things we want to hear when you're talking about in your interview. If you're part of the BRG, right, and let's say you stuffed book bags for Achievability, which is an organization in Philadelphia, whatever organization y'all are from, I'm just using examples. Say that, right? Because we want to know about you. We want to know not just, oh, she's a worker bee. That's good. But what else are you doing, right? Okay? So those are the things I want y'all to be thinking about, okay?
When it comes to like just talking about your accomplishments or like just something like you said, how you helped out, does it have to be in a professional setting?
No. Listen, when you have that interview with that recruiter, you can say, you know what? When they ask you, oh, is there anything else you want to tell about, you know, tell me about you? Oh, you know what? I'm very passionate about giving back to my community. Right? That's just one thing that I mentioned for TD, but I also talked to them about how I have an organization that I started with my daughter many years ago because I'm a big community activist. I love giving back to the community. That's just me. So I talked to them about that before I did the clothing job, obviously, because I hadn't worked at TD. So talk about that, right? We want to know what the type of person we're hiring. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just the interview and your skill set, it's the whole picture that we want to know about. When people tell me, like I remember I said keeping it real, talking about the good and also the challenges and then the other things you do, whether it's a BRG that you're a part of or it's volunteering outside of work, right? Tell them about that. That's why I said, if you look at the notes that I said before, so let's say you want to talk about how you volunteer, because that was you, right? When you look at the page, let's say you're coming to work at TD, you would look at their TD Charitable Foundation. You see, because that's going to tie in. When you say, oh, why do you want to work at TD? And that's the next slide I'm going to get into. You're going to be able to say, oh, you know what? I saw TD partner with the Boys and Girls Club. You know, one thing about me, I love volunteering, ... And say, right? You see how you slide that right on in? You see? So they know, one, wow, she researched the company. She saw that we worked with the Boys and Girls Club, and she too volunteers. You see what I mean? That's why I said it's a conversation. Don't be scared. That's why I said make that list of everything you do in and out of the organization so you can talk about it. You're going to feel comfortable when you do what? Practice. It's going to just flow. I'm telling you, you're going to be like, whoa, I used to be so scared, and now here I am for the interview. I promise you, because I was the same way. I'll tell you this story before we move on. So when I was 18 years old, first of all, let me rewind. How many of y'all have ever seen an organization and you just are like, oh my God, you envision yourself working there? Show of hands, right? We've all been there. You are already there and already getting a paycheck, right? In your mind, okay? It's just got to cash it. I'm telling you, this organization, I would drive by. I was like, I'm working in there, yes. So they had an ad in the paper, and I'm aging myself because nobody even advertises in the paper anymore. But I'm still cute, okay? Okay, that's my ladies, my baddies, right? So I get the interview, and I'm telling you, I couldn't even sleep. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. I'm telling you, I was so excited. So I get to the interview, and the man interviews me. He goes, JoAnn, tell me what you know about the company. I was like, absolutely. I said, you're a healthcare company, and I love it. I swear, I was 18 years old, and that's exactly what I told him. He looked at me, and you know what? I have to give credit to that man because he was so sweet. He was probably, girl, goodbye. You wasted my time, but he was still sweet. He was like, okay. Then he asked me a second question. He goes, what would you like to be paid? I said, whatever. I just want to be here. I swear. I was 18 years old, right? And you know what the man said to me? He said, JoAnn, hold on, because I'm getting a little teary-eyed. Hold on. I still have PTSD from it. Hold on. And so he said, JoAnn, never, ever say to a company, I'll take whatever. He said, I want to give you that piece of advice. And I wanted so badly to say, am I not getting the job? Because the mood was so like, right? And he walked me, he said, good day. And I was like, I cried in my car. Because like I said, I literally, even when I drive by now, I'm like, but, you know, because I'm a hater. But, you know, but I was like, but now I wouldn't have hired me either. Get out of here with that, right? And so all that to say, make sure you do your research, okay? Don't just sit there and say, oh, I like it. That's all good and well. I'm going to give you an example, and this is true examples that people have given me. Oh, no, that's the next slide, sorry. We'll do that in the next one, but okay, don't miss the money part, girl. I'll hold it for you, don't worry, we have some time. So during the interview, I want you to understand, before you have your interview, take a deep breath, okay? Take a deep breath and tell yourself, you've got this, okay? Because self-manifestation is real, right? Tell yourself, calm down. I even to this day, and I've been a recruiter for a long time, I say, JoAnn, you got it, girl. I'll put that on my sticky note. In addition to, JoAnn, slow down, okay? Because I told you I'll speak fast, okay? Manifest it, okay? And even if, I want to say this too, even if it doesn't work out that time, it wasn't meant to be, okay? Remember that. Sometimes you might think you want an organization and then you find out, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't work there. There's been several times that I was like, oh, thank God I dodged a bullet because I love TD, okay? And I mean that. And to be honest with you, I want to insert this before I forget. For those of you not on LinkedIn, please, I beg you, please get on LinkedIn and make sure you have an accurate email. I search for people every single day. And you know what pains me the most is when people email me after I've emailed them about a job opportunity and it's 6 months later. Like, oh, JoAnn, I want that job. I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't even remember that job. I'm like, you're just not responding. They're like, oh, I just checked that email. No. So please, we recruiters go on LinkedIn every day. My last 2 jobs, recruiters found me. My last 2. Y'all heard me? 2. I wasn't even looking. When TD reached out to me, I was not even looking. Actually, I had just gotten a job that I loved, or so I thought, till TD came through, right? TD, okay? Because I was like, listen, I'm happy. Y'all gonna have to make me happier for me to leave where I'm at. And they did. Okay, I love TD, okay? So I'll just keep it a real with y'all. Let me see. So like I said, take a deep breath. We just want to know about your experience, and I've said that, okay? So my tips. There's a thing I like to say, the 3 Ds. When somebody says, JoAnn, tell me about yourself. Well, I'm diligent, I'm dedicated, I'm determined. And I've been an asset to every employer I've worked for. Y'all see that, right? Did I say I have 2 dogs and I've worked in HR? Yeah, no, right? Afterwards, I say, oh, you know what? I've been in HR for over 8 years. I have a passion for building diverse pipelines. And then I go into my spiel. But you see that hook? See, y'all all perked up when I said my DDDs, right? Y'all might have been looking at your phone, but when I said it, y'all like, what's she talking about? See, and y'all can take it, but again, it's gonna be 20%. Copyright, okay? But you understand, we don't wanna keep hearing the same old, okay, that's all good and all, but give us something that's gonna hook us, right? When I said what I said, show of hands, were y'all like, wow? Why? Right? If a recruiter wasn't paying attention when I said I'm diligent, I'm determined, I'm repeating it for you, girl. I said, okay, I said I'm diligent, determined, and I'm dedicated, right? I've been an asset to every employer I've worked at, right? Or I've worked for, okay? I've been in HR for over 8 years. I have a passion for, boom, insert it. Data, project management, whatever it is, insert it right there. Give it to them, right? Let them know what you're passionate about. Remember I said write down those skill sets, your happy, your wins, right? And I tell them, this is what I say also. I say, you know what, for me, it's not enough to just go to a career fair, right? I'm boots on the ground with the students because I'm trying to build diverse pipelines, and I do that through networking. So I network with the professors that allow me to go into the classroom to talk to the students. Y'all get that? What did I tell you? I'm not sitting down. I'm there, right? I can tell you right now, not many recruiters go to the classrooms. And that's not any shade. This is JoAnn. This is my differentiator. This is what makes me stand out. And this is why you need me on your team.
Right.
You see what I mean? I already told you I'm diligent. I already told you I'm dedicated. And definitely told you I'm determined. So nobody's going to outwork me. You see that? You're planting the seed in their head. You see what I mean? Not just, oh, I've been in HR 8 years. I build diverse pipelines. Yeah. But do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Right? There you go. There you go. And that comes from what, ladies? Practice. You already heard me tell the story when I was 18. This is a different JoAnn. This is a JoAnn that practice, that puts in that work. I can tell you and this is not bragging, every interview I go to, I get. Okay? Every interview I go to, I get, whether they reached out to me or not. Because just because a company reached out to you doesn't mean you're the only candidate they're checking for. No. They're still looking for the people. When they reach out, I'm like, okay, I feel myself that day. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling myself. Okay? But then I'm like, okay, JoAnn, you better practice.
Right.
Okay? Let's see. Okay. Now, I told y'all, this is a big one. Can y'all please read this while I drink a sip of water? Please. This one right here. I cannot tell you how many times I interview people and they're just flat. Flat, flat, flat. They're like, I'm like, hello. Hi. I'm like, geez. I'm like, and I always tell them, we're just gonna have a conversation. I just wanna know about you. It doesn't matter. Those people are like, ooh, deer in headlights. I love when somebody is able to relax a little bit. Like, let's say I interview somebody on a Monday and they say, how was your week? And I'm like, great, how was yours? That helps lessen the fear, right? Ask them, how are you? We're human. Ask us, right? Okay? It's okay to ask. It's okay to have a conversation. Remember, that's what this is. Okay? Don't be scared. Okay? I want y'all to understand that. Please don't be scared. All right? I joke a lot when I do these things just to let people know we're human, but I'm serious. Don't be scared. We just want to know about you. We just want to know what separates you from you, from you, from you. That's it. We just want to make the best choice. That's all. Okay? So show your enthusiasm. Somebody calls you, hi, how are you? You know, thank you so much for giving me a call, right? During the interview, make sure you smile. So many people don't smile in the interview. So many. Smile. Act like you're happy. Girl, you're about to get paid. Right? You're about to get, listen, I'm telling you, TD, I can't help but smile. Right, my TD colleagues? Whoop, whoop. Okay? We smile. We are happy. Genuinely happy. Okay? We are happy. Smile when you have that interview. Okay? And remember, like I said, take notes. Another thing is, it is okay to have your resume in front of you. Now, of course, don't read it like the Bible, you know what I mean? But, because some people are like, oh, I'm like, you want to just have it to reference, right? Especially if you have a long job history. So you want to just, okay, let me take a look, okay. You know, remember, you still have your sticky notes, okay? And listen to the interviewer and take your time answering the question, okay? You can insert some things. Let's say they asked you, tell us about yourself, right? Again, please don't say anything personal. Don't. But you can say, like the young lady who said about the volunteering, right? You can put that in there. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to go off of just that one question. No, it's a conversation, okay? Now, this is, remember I said have 4 unique things about a company? So we talked about the other 2. I told you about the advisory board and what else was the other one? The money for the underserved communities. Here's another one. I want y'all to read this real quick, okay? Right here. Why do you want to work here? This role aligns perfectly with my previous experience and career goals. Additionally, I was impressed to learn that the bank is ranked number 9 on Forbes. So that means I know you did a what? Deep dive, okay? And as a woman and as a person of color, right? You want to say that because it is what it is, okay? Right? That resonates with me. I see you're committed to DEI. And I want to be a part of an organization like that, okay? Now, I've gotten this many a times. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. That's why I put it there. I have an account. I have an account at TD. Everybody in my family banks at TD. I just love TD. I'm like, okay, remember they did it me when I was 18. Who would you hire? You understand what I'm saying, ladies? Do your deep dive. Wait to reply back to that recruiter so you can really get into the nitty gritty of the research. That is important. You see what I'm telling you, right? You see it. Okay? But before the interview, I need y'all to do your research because we're going to get into the trickiness of salary, okay? Please do your research. You do not think that the recruiter is going to tell you the salary all the time that you should have. No, it could be more than that, right? Okay? Again, do your research. Fishbowl is a good site. Glassdoor is a good site. Salary.com is a good site, okay? Do your research so you can get a general ballpark of where you need to be.
Well, so like in the state of New York, where they have to like put the salary
Mm-hmm.
down, do you have like I guess any tip on how to like speak about that? Because sometimes it's just like
It was wild numbers.
and you don't know what like percentile they're really showing, and if that's like the true band.
I would still do the research, even though, because I was just about to say that some of these people put like, 50,000 to daggone to $1 million, right? I'm like, y'all are tricky. I hate that because I'm like, that's not realistic.
So just touching on what she said,
Mm-hmm.
so like let's say they give a range 70 to 100K. Do you ask for the 100K or do you like middle ground it?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? If you are about that life and you've been working in HR like me for a long time and you've got things to back up, but I always tell people, don't reach for the moon when you know you are not the moon,
Girl, you better preach.
okay? Don't do it. People get, oh, JoAnn, no, I deserve, okay, have you put in the work? Do you have the stuff to back it up? Me, I got the stuff to back it up, okay? Do you have that? People are like, oh, JoAnn, but I want to make six figures. Okay, everybody does. You might not be there yet. You might be at 60, 65. Work your way up. Be a part of the BRGs. Do these things, show them, right? And you'll get there. But I always tell people, when you do that and you know you don't have the expertise to back it up, it's not going to work. It looks bad. So think realistically. And to me, everybody knows when they should and shouldn't. Some people are like, I'm just going to put it and just throw it to Jesus. Okay. Jesus said what? He helps those that help themselves. But come on now, Jesus like, come on, girl. Now, you know you're not there. We're working on it. Okay? So again, put a good median. If you know, okay, I've been at the job maybe 3 to 5 years, then that's middle range. That's middle range. Let's call a spade, right? But if you know, been there 8 to 10 years, and I've got, boom, this, okay, right? But you know in your heart of hearts what you should be putting. Okay, so you look at that range and look at multiple sources. Don't just look at one, look at several sources, right? I'm gonna tell you this story about this man that I interviewed. This is the best interview I've ever had in my life, okay? This man, confident but not cocky at all. He knew his stuff, okay? He had examples. Anything you ask this man, and I knew he was the best candidate. And the funny thing is that job, not even many people applied. It was only like 30 people, right? And that's another thing. And let me tell you something before I forget. Don't think that just because you see a job, you shouldn't apply. A lot of times, ladies, you count yourself out. I cannot tell you how many times there have been people who have interviewed for a job that had nil experience. But when I tell you they could talk, they could sell ice to an Eskimo, I was like, they had me. I was like, I want to give them the job. And I know they, but I'm just telling you, they were prepared. They put in that work, okay? So again, make sure you're putting in the work, the research, okay? And like I said, practicing. But anyway, back to my best interview I've ever had. This man was so humble. He humble bragged, okay? So he would talk about himself, but humble brag, okay? So he said his salary that he wanted, which was definitely on the high end, but he had been in the field, so we knew, right? But sometimes I'm gonna tell you something. Companies will sit there and interview someone and say, we're gonna keep interviewing. Even though he was the best candidate, I knew he was, I wanted to hire him, right? But they were like, we're going to keep interviewing. Okay, we'll continue to interview. Everybody wasn't even half of this man's worth. Honestly, they couldn't even hold a candle to him, right? And you know what that man said when we offered him the position the first time? He was like, you know what, thank you so much, but I'm gonna have to decline. He was so nice. I'm telling you, he was the nicest person. He was like, you know what, JoAnn, I believe my value is here, and I'm gonna stick to that. He said, now if you interview other candidates and decide that I'm the candidate you want, he said, I might still be open. He's like, but I am interviewing. I was like, yes, let him know. Let him know you might lose me, right? And guess what happened? We interviewed a couple more people. They were all bad. I'm telling you, I was like, Jesus Christ. But went back to that man, and let me tell you what he did. He said, you know what? He said, thank you so much, JoAnn. It's so good to hear from you. It's as though he knew I was going to call. Okay? When I tell you that man was calm as a cucumber, right? He knew his worth. He knew it. He was like, y'all going to be back? Y'all feeling me. Y'all going to be back, right? I called him because I was the one who made offers and stuff. I called him and I said, and so we offered him the position. And you know what that man said to me? You better believe. No. He said he wanted more. And guess what? A sign-on bonus. Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you this. So I can't tell you which company because, so my HR boss said to me, JoAnn, when I told her, I went back to her and said, this is what he's looking for. We smiled, right? Because I was like, and I know this man is it. She was like, JoAnn, she was like, man, he's good. I said, yeah, he's good. And so my boss says to me, JoAnn, she's like, we are taking this to our grave. We had never given a sign-on in the history of the company. Did you hear me? Never. Never. She said, JoAnn, we take this to our grave. I was like, I'm scared. I need a bonus if you're threatening me. Right? I tell you, so when a company wants you, they want you. Okay? They want you. There's no denying, there's no if, shoulda, they want you. Okay? But again, that came with that man being able to articulate everything clearly. Like I said, and I've interviewed hundreds of people. Best interview I ever had, hands down. And when I saw him, he was like, I was like, I was like, yes, you did that, right? I was like, nah, give me some of that bonus, all right? But he was the best, okay? Humble brag, wasn't cocky, okay? So again, remember. And also remember, ladies, when you are interviewing, remember the market. There's an employee's market, there's an employer's market. Right now, there's a lot of layoffs and things like that. So not saying you can't negotiate, but be mindful, okay? Be mindful, yes? So again, you always ask about the benefits when that time comes for salary. Of course, you don't mention salary at the beginning. You wait, right? You have your conversation and whatnot. I've been able to negotiate extra PTO, right? I've been able to negotiate a sign-on, all types of things, okay? You have to be able to, again, this is all gonna come from what? Practice, okay? Research the company. If they say, let's say you're trying to make 80,000, right? And they say, okay, we can give you 72, right? You're like, okay, you know what? That's close to where I want to be, but can we do anything with PTO? Can we do anything with extra days off? Can I get a sign-on? Ask about other things, right? Because sometimes the companies have departments, right? So it's not always HR that gives the negotiation. Sometimes it's literally the department. So for instance, let's say the IT department is the one controlling the budget. I might say, okay, we have room for sign-on. Or they might say, you know what, we really don't. We just, took a hit on such and such and such and such, right? So we can't do that. But let's talk about PTO. But again, you have to be able to nail the interview. I say all of this to say, the world is your oyster. Remember that. But it's not if you cannot articulate your value. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter. Remember I said the best interview I ever had? Because that man was about it. He could articulate his value. Okay, I can articulate my value. I wasn't always there, and I want you to understand that's a process. You have to put in the work, right? If you know you're interviewing for a job, let's say, what is it, September, and okay, I want to start interviewing for a job in January, you need to be practicing every day. And I'm not lying to you. You need to be practicing every day. We all are on Instagram, right? Facebook. Okay, take that time and say, you know what, I'm going to do an hour of my own personal development. Because guess what? I deserve a better paying job. Right? I deserve a better job. But how is it going to get there? You got to put in that work. Okay? So I wanted you to see, let's talk about this. What time is it? Because I want to make sure I have time for, ooh, I have a few more things. Let me hurry up. Okay, so here, be confident. Remember I said, but not cocky, okay? When they ask you, what are your salary requirements? So many people cringe, and I'm just asking a question, right? But that was me too. I used to cringe on that, okay? You put it back on them. Oh, can you please, and say it with a smile, ladies, okay? Because some recruiters feel as though the money is coming out of their own pocket. And I'm not playing with you. I'm not like that, but some people feel like, oh, it's like, what? Right? So you say it with a smile, right? Oh, can you please tell me what is your budgeted salary for the position? And then silence, zip it. Don't say a peep. Too many people open their mouths and then say, oh, well, you know what? I'm currently making. I'm like, oh. Don't you ever say what you're currently making. You know why? Because guess what? You didn't meet me before when you negotiated that salary, right? Oh, no, you didn't even negotiate, right? So you took a lower pay position. Now you know your worth. So now it's the ante is upped, right? We're not going back. We're going forward. So it doesn't matter what you're making. I don't care if you're making 50 and the next job is paying 80. Hello, right? This is what I'm making. This is what I've deserved. I've been at this job. These are the things that I've done, and this is what I'm looking for. And say it with a smile and silence. And hold on. And then the recruiter will typically tell you the budgeted salary, or they might not. They might be like a pit bull and be like, okay, no, we want a number. Okay. You've done your what? Research. So you can give them a number. And listen, don't give an exact number. You give a range. You say, oh, you know what? And I want you to say it just like this with a smile. I'm currently interviewing for positions that are between X and Y. You understand? I'm currently interviewing. Let them know you're not the only one. You look good, but you're not the only one. Okay? Right? I'm currently interviewing for other positions. And smile. Silence. They're like, okay, that's in the range. Or they might say, oh, you know what, it's a little, whatever they're going to tell you. Okay? But you'll be able to know. So again, you ask the first one first. What did I say? When they say, what are your salary expectations? Can you please tell me, again, smile, what is the budgeted salary for this position? Don't forget that. You do not want to give that number first. I can tell you right now, it breaks my heart how many times I see people leave money on the table, and it's always women. Right. Men, girl, they're asking for stuff. I'm like, okay, who are you? You know, I'm telling women, inevitably. I've even had women, if a job paid, let me just tell you this story. I've had women where a job, I'll say, okay, what are you looking for? And while I'm writing, they'll say, no, and then they say, oh, JoAnn, but I'm willing to take lower, it's just me and my dog. I'm serious. I'm like, this is not volunteer work. You've got bills. Do we not have bills, ladies? We have big, right? Big bills. Big bills, right? Never say what you are making currently. Remember what I said, never say what you're making currently. Oh, but I'm currently making, get that out of your vocabulary. Don't say that. Never. Because guess what? If you were lowballed at your last company, and we're a company with a budget, you're going to be lowballed there, and you're always going to be making the 66 cents on the dollar that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Never. I don't care. And another thing, ladies, I want to tell you, I'm going to try to wrap this up because I know I have a few things. Who was this? Why do we love her? Show of hands. I need hands. I need y'all to tell me some adjectives of why we love this woman. Powerful. Hardworking. Confident. Hardworking. Okay. Let me tell y'all why I put this in here. I watched an interview on Oprah when she interviewed Beyonce, right? And she said, you know what? She said, a lot of people don't know. I'm from Texas. I'm quiet. She said, but you know what? I have to have a persona to get on stage. She said, and that's Sasha Fierce. She was like, she's the one that can be magnetic. She's the one that's electrifying. She's the one that's bold, that gets out there and is able to entertain the crowd. She's like, Beyonce can't. And I was like, huh? I want all of you today, to get your Sasha Fierce. Do you hear me? All of you. We are family at this point. I told y'all some embarrassing things. Okay? I did. I opened up my heart and soul to you guys. I need y'all to get your Sasha Fierce. Believe it or not, I'm very much an introvert. Me speaking to people, I do it all the time, but I still get nervous. Every time. But see, now we're family, okay? So trust me, my persona is here. And whenever I interview, that's the one that's confident, not cocky, but she's gonna tell you how she's diligent, determined, and dedicated. She's gonna tell you how she's been an asset to every company she's been at, right? She's gonna tell you all the things she's done. That is the person. So if that's what you need to get in front of that interview, then by all means, Sasha Fierce, nice to meet you.
Right.
Okay? I have a few more things. At the end of the interview, this is very important, ladies, okay? At the end of the interview, I want you to ask for the job, okay? I want you to ask for it. That last interview that you have, don't just sit there and say thank you. No. Sasha Fierce is gonna come through. And Sasha Fierce is gonna say, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me. I know you have a hard choice to make today, but I can tell you no one is gonna work harder for you than me. I'm more excited about the position now that I've had a chance to speak with you and the team, and I want you to know I want this job. I can hit the ground running, and I'm ready to make an impact. Boom!
Yeah.
Boom! Who's getting the job?
Yeah.
When you say that, ladies, my baddies, right? Are we getting the bag? Are we getting me my 10%? Okay? Sasha Fierce, ladies, hold on. Thank the interviewer for their time. Make sure to say thank you. Many people get off and say, okay, no, thank them. Okay? Remember I said, thank you. Good morning. All that goes a long way. Okay? Silence, very long way. Thank the interviewer. If you haven't been able to ask what the next steps are, ask them, okay? I'm sure they tell you, but sometimes they don't, so you just ask them. Follow up in a timely manner. I'm gonna tell you this real quick. I cannot tell you how many times we have been neck and neck with candidates, right? Sometimes we have the exact same candidate, they're all kind of the same, right? And then we sit there and say, okay, who should we give it to? They're pretty much the same. And guess what happens? What do y'all think happens? What do y'all think is the deciding factor? That thank you note. Booyah, every time I'm like, my person sent the thank you. Did your person? My person sent the thank you. And it's not just any thank you. Please don't send generic ones. I want you to send specialized ones. The ones that I love to see are the ones that are bulleted, right? So you sit there and you put things from the interview. So for instance, let's say how I talked about earlier, how I create diverse pipelines, have a passion for that. You put that. Thank you so much for interviewing with me today. You know, loved getting to meet you, blah, 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 blah. But then you have those bullets and you say, you know, just like I told you in the interview, I love creating diverse pipelines. I told you how I'm at the HBCUs, networking with the professors, speaking to the students about our wonderful job opportunities at my current employer. I hope to do the same for you. And then you put two of them. Don't I say have 3 bulleted, right? 3 bullets. Don't send a generic email, ladies. It's not gonna cut it. We know, okay? We know. If you need to use ChatGPT, who was my friend that said about AI? I think that was you. You can use ChatGPT. Okay, and just put in there what you talked about and say, help me create a thank you bulleted letter, right? And just say, I need help putting the bullets or whatever, however you want to do it, right? And then it'll come out nice and sweet. We've all used ChatGPT, don't pretend. Okay, some of y'all, yes, we do. Okay, so make sure you send it. And again, I always say send it 24 hours, okay? Because sometimes we're ready to make a decision, okay? So you send it. Thank you. Every interviewer you had, thank you. Okay? And then like here, clarify any notes you have. And here it is, remind the interviewer why you believe you are the best fit for the role. This I want you to take a picture of. These are some great questions to ask at the end of the interview. Okay? What are some challenges someone in the role might face? Okay? Because you want to know how you're going to help and support, right? Next one, what are some departments that I'm going to be working with? Because you might think, oh, I'm doing the accounting department. And they're like, oh, no, you work with early talent, you work with HR. You're like, ooh, okay. There's going to be a lot of people I'm going to be working with, right? You want to know the departments, okay? This one, I'm telling you, anytime somebody has asked me this question, I'm like, yes. What separates those who do well in this role from those who truly shine? Why do you think that's a good question, ladies? Come on, y'all, we're almost down, come on. Absolutely. It shows that that person is a go-getter. That person is an overachiever. If they're asking about all this, that person is about to put in that work. That's the type of person we want. Okay? Don't just ask generic questions. No. We're asking nitty-gritty questions to get to the bag. Okay? Remember, we're done asking basic questions. What are the day-to-day responsibilities? They're going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. This one, again, if you decided to hire me today, speaking into existence, today, sir, I need that job, today. In 6 months, how would you know you made the right decision? Oh, that manager's going to tell you. Oh, you want to know? Oh, you're ready? Girl, listen, if you do this, you are an excellent employee. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly, and matter of fact, in that thank you email, guess what? Boom, I'm going to put that in there too. You talked about this, guess what? I'm going to be that shining 6-month candidate. Okay? And then lastly, what opportunities are there for growth and development? Because guess what? You are about it, right? You are an overachiever. You want the role. Again, oh no, I did that, okay. I want you to really look at this, seriously, okay? Remember this, ladies. You've got this. You see a job, don't count yourself out. Please don't. Please don't do that. Let them do it, okay? If they're gonna do it, right? Okay? Let them do it if they're gonna do it. And if they do, then you know what? No means what? New opportunity. Don't forget that. Don't get hung up on a job like, oh, I didn't get it. You remember me when I was 18? Am I not here today?
You here, girl.
Okay? I'm here. So don't let that setback be like, oh, no, that defines my worth. No, it doesn't. There's a million jobs, right? There's a million jobs. You just need to practice more, right? That's it. So do not forget this. I told you, I interview people all the time, and I'm looking at them and only have 10% of the stuff. Okay? So lastly, y'all want to connect with me on LinkedIn? Okay? But let me tell you something, ladies. I laugh and I joke a lot, but when people contact me for a mock interview, I tell them, guess what? Don't contact me unless you practice. Don't contact me unless you practice. Hold on. Because sometimes people contact me, oh, JoAnn, you're so much. Okay. And I go to questions. They're like, oh, JoAnn, you're going in on me. No, I'm not. I told you be prepared. I told y'all what to do. Don't come to me half-stepping. Okay? I want to see all of you succeed. Do you hear me? I live in Delaware. I drove from Delaware today.
Oh, wow.
Okay? I drove from Delaware today. This is a passion. Whoop, whoop. Okay? This is a passion of mine. I love when people email me and like, JoAnn, guess what? I got that job. Or when people even email me and say, JoAnn, you know what? I'm a little disappointed I didn't get that job, but I feel better about where I am with interviewing, and I know I need to practice some more. And I said, you know, you got the next one. And then JoAnn, I got it. I said, okay, great. Send me my 10%. This is my address. I take PayPal, Zelle, Cash App. Okay? But on a serious note, ladies, I want you to believe in yourselves. I really do. Know that you've got it. As black women, I know we faced imposter syndrome. Trust me, I did. I still do. Okay? I still do. Don't think you see me and think, oh, no, I still do. But I'm not going to let that stop me. That is not going to happen. Okay? Do we feel good? Yes. We're going to get the bag? Yes. We know how to ask about salary? Yes. Are we going to say what we're currently making? No. Thank you. Another thing, our sticky notes, our water, our pens, and our what? Charger. Okay? And our pants. Okay? I want y'all to enjoy the rest of the summer. And another thing, if you have not posted on LinkedIn in a long time, which some people haven't, take the time today to post about this wonderful conference, okay? We look on LinkedIn, and a lot of times I can tell you, I only started posting on LinkedIn personally because I'm a very private person, probably 2 years ago, because I'm just private. But I said, you know what? I'm going to start letting people see the things that I do. Right? How I give back to the community, how I go and volunteer, how I do that. And I've met so many wonderful people. So don't be afraid of LinkedIn. And if you're not sure, you can message me. I can tell you, send you some things about how to do it and whatnot. And I mean that. I'm not the type of person that's just going to talk. I'm the type of person, this is what you see, what you get. Okay? So again, I'm rooting for all of you. And I know you can all do it. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my, okay.